Well, Sonny Matula says he's honored to be part of Robredo's slate, and he says this is proof she is serious about fighting for the rights of workers if elected president. We now have with us for up close, attorney, should we call you attorney Matula? Attorney Matula or Kasani? Ano po yung dapat tawag namin po sa inyo?
Sunny Wildo, Pia.
Attorney Sunny.
Magandang gabi po sa lahat. Attorney Matula or Attorney Sunny?
Yes, good evening po.
Good evening.
Okay, Attorney Sunny. Good evening po sa inyo and thank you very much for joining us. Can you tell us first po, Attorney Sunny, what were the behind the scenes dito po sa pagpili sa inyo? No? What took so long? Ano yung 1-2 weeks? Ang daming naghihintay, ang daming haka-haka, di ba? Sabi daw, it was a choice between Nery Colmenares and you. What happened?
Palagay ko ay nahirapan siguro si VP Lenny sa pagpili sapagkat very qualified naman si Congressman Colmenares at kilalang-kilala ng mga sektor. At palagay ko sa pag-evaluate ay nahirapan yung si VP Lenny at yung kanyang mga advisor at yung mga nakapaligid sa kanya. Kaya hindi ganun kabilis na nagdesisyon yung ating Vice President.
Yeah, but what was the reason behind yung nahirapan siya pumili? What was it that you had na wala si Nery Colmenares?
Hindi ko masyadong nakikita kung ano yung criteria niya, pero ang nakikita ko lang ay si VP Lenny ay naging abogado ng mga magsasaka sa Bukidnon at nung nagpa-practice pa siya ay naging abogado siya ng mga manggagawa. Ganon din po yung aking karanasan sa kasalukuyan ay abogado ako ng mga manggagawa at marami ring mga grupo ng mga magsasaka na ako'y abogado. At yung mga urban poor at jeepney drivers ay abogado rin ako dito sa Metro Manila. So may similarity yung aming pinagmumulan.
Okay. Marami pong pinag-uusapan ngayon tungkol sa no vaccine, no work policy. Although hindi naman siya policy, pinag-uusapan pa lang, there is that possibility. It's well hanging over our heads, no? But what do you think of that as a labor leader, as someone who has represented labor groups in the past, and also as a lawyer? Pwede po bang pilitin ang tao na magpabakuna? At kung hindi siya magpabakuna, hindi siya pwedeng tanggapin sa trabahong that he is applying for, or mawawalan siya ng trabaho, matatanggal siya sa trabaho dahil ayaw niya magpabakuna. Ano po ba yung dapat na balance between these two
The existing law provides that vaccination is not compulsory. In fact, under Section 12 of Republic Act 11-525, it is clearly stated that vaccination is not a mandatory requirement in obtaining education, in employment, and in other similar government transactions. So the law is clear that it is voluntary. In fact, the law also says that these vaccines are still in an experimental stage. So that's the reason why vaccination is not yet compulsory. And of course, at present, there is a problem of supply. In fact, I was just vaccinated a week ago because of lack of supply of the vaccine. So that was my first dose last week, and I need to have my second dose in December. So malayo pa rin. At there are a number of workers who are not yet vaccinated because of lack of supply of these vaccines. So mahirap naman. It is unreasonable to impose the compulsory vaccination when there is lack of vaccines or wala pang vaccines o kulang.
But, well, two things there, opo, Attorney Sunny. Number one, ang sinasabi na po ng gobyerno at nakikita naman po natin in the last few days, ang dami na pong dumarating na supply ng bakuna, iba't ibang brand po yun. At ang sabi nga ni Secretary Charlie Galvez, wala na po tayong problema sa supply. Yung problema na lang po natin logistics and how to bring this all, to download all of these to the different LGUs all over the country. But at the same time, sir, what you're saying is that the only thing we can use is moral suasion, no? Parang convincing to convince people to get vaccinated. Otherwise, wala tayong ano.
Oh, we encourage people to be inoculated. Ano? So, hindi naman namin ino-oppose yan kasi kinakailangan talaga ng ating mga manggagawa yan. Ang ating lang, hindi pwedeng i-impose yung no work, no vaccine, no work. Ano? Kasi hindi mandatory nga sa ating sariling mga batas. At yung resolution lamang ng Interagency Task Force ay hindi yan pwedeng sumalungat sa ating kasalukuyang batas na voluntary nga yung vaccination na sinasabi. At kung i-impose yan, ay palagay ko ay misapplication of the law yan sapagkat hindi naman pwedeng mas mataas yung resolution kaysa resolution ng IETF kaysa batas na ginawa ng Kongreso. So kung may batas, ay
Attorney Sani, meron pa pong...
Yes, ma'am.
Meron pa pong isa pang controversy nowadays, itong excise tax oil, dahil nga patuloy na tumataas lang yung presyo ng produktong petrolyo, talaga namang it becomes a really big problem. Lahat, pagtaas ng presyo ng gasolina, taas na yung lahat, na alam naman natin po yun. So, if you were, because ang pinag-usapan ngayon, pwede namang i-amend ang law, pwedeng isuspend daw ng Finance Department ang provision na yon doon sa batas. If you were to win in this bid for the Senate, and if you are there in the Senate already, at umabot sa panahon na nandun na po kayo sa Senado, what would you do about this particular controversy on the excise tax?
Palagay ko ay napaka-importante kasi ng mga gasolina at ito ay ginagamit ng maraming mga Pilipino, ay dapat gamitin ng Executive Department yung kanyang kapangyarihan, isuspend muna. At palagay ko kung nasa Senado na tayo ay ating i-review yung excise tax na yan sa ating mga gasolina kung ito ba epektibo o dapat nating tanggalin na sa ating mga batas.
Alright. Attorney Sani, yet another controversy, itong pinag-uusapang investigasyon ng International Criminal Court. Ang sinasabi po ng Malacanang na administrasyon, wala pong jurisdiction ang ICC sa Pilipinas dahil di na po tayong miyembro nito at marami pa pong ibang dahilan. In a very as brief as possible, Attorney Sani, can you tell us what you think is going to happen and ano po ba ang pwedeng gawin ng ICC at hindi nila pwedeng gawin?
Palagay ko ay yung jurisdiction ng ICC.
Investigation into the war on drugs, sorry.
Yes, the investigation I think is a good thing that happened. And yung sinasabing walang jurisdiction ay sinagot na yan ng Korte Suprema natin mismo doon sa kaso ng Cayetano versus o Pangilinan versus Cayetano, yung bago lamang, yung pag-withdraw ng Pilipinas sa International Court of Justice. And the Supreme Court said that the ICC has jurisdiction from the time that we entered into the agreement until the time that we withdraw from the ICC or the Rome Statute. So yung mga nangyayari during the time na tayo ay kasapi pa ng ICC, ay may jurisdiction ang korte, ang International Court of Criminal Court at dapat ay hindi maging baliwala ang accountability ng ating mga opisyal na nasuspitsan o may mga probable cause para sa kanila sa mga nangyayaring patayan sa ating bansa.
Attorney Sani, marami po tayong mga tanong, mga general questions halimbawa, at itong isang main question dito of course, as a senator and a lawmaker, wala po kayo sa executive, no? So you will not be implementing, you will not be with the executive. However, if you were a senator, if you did win in this Senate bid, and as a senator, what kind, in the next administration, of course, no, what kind of a health crisis management would you want to see on the ground? Because, well, we are presuming that the pandemic may stretch on for a few more months. No? So the question there is how you would manage this health crisis differently. But I'm going to ask you to take that question, to give us that answer, Attorney Sani Matula, when we, after this very quick break, and when we return, this conversation with the newest senatorial aspirant under Leni Robredo's slate, Sani Matula, continues. Keep it here on CNN Philippines.
Oh, anyari sa'yo? Ba't nakasimangot ka? Alam ko na. Masakit ang katawan mo, ano? Sa sobrang trabaho? O di kaya masakit ang ulo sa sobrang stress? Break ka muna. Hinga ng malalim at imasahe ang ulo mo gamit ang Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Ako rin ganun eh. Kaya pag mataas ang tensyon sa trabaho, mag-Herbalaya break ka muna.
Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Amoy na kaaya-aya. Sa bawat pahid ay ginhawa.
Welcome back to CNN Philippines. We still have with us for Up Close labor leader and lawyer Sani Matula, the latest addition to Leni Robredo's senatorial slate. Attorney Sani, ang tanong ko po kanina is how would you want the health crisis managed differently?
Yes, we have an agenda when we met Vice President Leni Robredo last week or 2 weeks ago. And one of our agenda is universal health at papalakasin natin yung ating mga sistema sa pangkalusugan. The first ones that ay dapat ay balik trabahong ligtas. So we have to adopt measures sa pagbabalik ng mga manggagawa sa trabaho na ligtas sila. So ang pamanawagan dyan ay malawakang bakuna, libreng testing, at kung ang ating mga manggagawa ay magkaroon ng o ma-infected ng COVID-19 ay dapat mayroon silang assistance na o mayroong tinatawag natin na proposal for a pandemic leave kung mayroong COVID-19 na infected yung ating mga manggagawa para hindi sila mawala ng income sa panahon na sila ay nagkasakit o na quarantine sila, no? So, at kasama na dyan siyempre ang pag-recruit ng maraming mga healthcare personnel. Noon pa man ay sumulat na kami sa Pangulo ng Pilipinas, sa Department of Health at sa ating Department of Labor na dapat nag-recruit ng mga regular na mga healthcare worker. Hindi lang po yung mga job order o yung mga contract of service ng mga personnel, kundi mga regular na mga empleyado ng Department of Health para sa matugunan yung pangkalusugang pangailangan ng ating mga kababayan. Isa po ang kulang sa kasalukuyan ay karamihan ng ating mga na-recruit na mga healthcare personnel ay mga contract of service o may contractualisasyon na nangyayari na ang kanila namang ginagawa ay permanenteng trabaho ng ating pamahalaan. So masama po yan. Yan ay ating babaguhin.
Okay, babaguhin meaning, ang sabi po kasi sa akin one of the thing you are most passionate about is security of tenure, and you're saying na kapag dumating kayo sa Senado at kung nakakarating kayo ng Senado, yan ang isa sa mga na tatrabahuhin nyo. Oho.
At siyempre, yung paid quarantine leave ng ating mga manggagawa sa panahon na sila ay magkasakit o sa panahon na sila ay naka-isolate.
Oh, Attorney Sani, siyempre ang running for the Senate is not a small thing. As a matter of fact, ang estimates na can run between 200, 500 million for a campaign for the Senate. So the question is, how do you plan to fund your campaign? And given that you are a labor leader, a labor lawyer, how would you say big business looks at you and your candidacy?
It's good that we are included in the slate of the Vice President kasi madadala na tayo sa kampanya ng ating Vice Presidente at sa palagay natin ay tutulungan ang mga manggagawa na manalo, yung representante ng mga manggagawa na manalo sa eleksyon na ito. So malaking tulong po yon. At nagpapasalamat kami sa kay VP Lenny na napagbigyan yung mga manggagawa. For the first time, palagay ko yung mga manggagawa na bigyan ng break at palagay ko ay mananalo yung representante ng mga manggagawa sapagkat nakasama tayo sa mainstream na mga political coalition. Siyempre, wala tayong pera na sarili natin.
Attorney Sani, the following questions are answerable only by yes or no, so wala pong explanation allowed. Sorry po. So
Okay,
first,
sige.
the first question is, do you favor easier public access to the SAL-ends of the President, Vice President, and members of Congress? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Do you support lifting foreign ownership limits in the Constitution? Yes or no, sir?
Come again?
Do you support lifting foreign ownership limits in the Constitution? Yes or no, sir?
No. I will not support the lifting of the term limit.
Okay. Do you favor the reimposition of the death penalty for drug-related crimes? Yes or no?
No. Life is precious and it cannot be returned back.
Should the sitting president be allowed to run for vice president in the next election? Although, of course, alam naman po natin, nagsabi na po si President Duterte na hindi siya tatakbo, hindi po siya nag-file ng COC, pero syempre, hindi natin alam kung ano mangyayari between now and November 15. At the same time, sabi po niya, retired siya, pero ang tanong, should a sitting president be allowed to run for VP in the next election? Yes or no, sir?
I think no is the answer.
Do you favor resuming peace talks with communist rebels? Yes or no, sir?
Yes, sir. That's good for the Philippines to discuss.
Should the country be more aggressive in protecting its maritime interests in the West Philippine Sea? Yes or no, sir?
Yes, of course.
And my final question for you, Attorney Sani, before we say goodbye to you, you were also a law professor and, of course, like we said earlier, a labor lawyer. What for you was the most significant, the most impactful, I suppose, the labor case na na-handle po ninyo? And even if, for example, you do win and you get to the Senate, would you still be teaching law? Ang daming nagsasabi na magaling daw po kayong teacher.
Yeah, I have 3 landmark cases, which is my favorite before the Supreme Court. The case of employees of Bayer Philippines versus Bayer. Then we have the Arabit versus Jardine Finance. And the other one is Lantex versus Ison. So those are my favorite cases before the Supreme Court, which was handed in favor of the workers.
And you would still continue teaching law, sir?
Yes. Masaya ako pag nagtuturo. So kung saan ka masaya, palagay ko ay tuloy mo yan.
Alright, maraming salamat po sa inyo, Attorney Sani Matula, the 12th candidate in Leni Robredo's senatorial slate. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us tonight.
O, anyari sa'yo? Ba't nakasimangot ka? Alam ko na. Masakit ang katawan mo, ano? Sa sobrang trabaho? O di kaya masakit ang ulo sa sobrang stress? Break ka muna. Hinga ng malalim at imasahe ang ulo mo gamit ang Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Ako rin ganun eh. Kaya pag mataas ang tensyon sa trabaho, mag-Herbalaya break ka muna.
Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Amoy na kaaya-aya. Sa bawat pahid ay ginhawa.
O, anyari sa'yo? Ba't nakasimangot ka? Alam ko na. Masakit ang katawan mo, ano? Sa sobrang trabaho? O di kaya masakit ang ulo sa sobrang stress? Break ka muna. Hinga ng malalim at imasahe ang ulo mo gamit ang Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Ako rin ganun eh. Kaya pag mataas ang tensyon sa trabaho, mag-Herbalaya break ka muna.
Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Amoy na kaaya-aya.